My name is Daniela Cerquera Saez and I was born April 4 of the year 2002. 3 days before I was born, when my mom was in her last month of pregnancy, she went to Camille of Candelaria twice a day to check how delayed she was. She always walked as it was close to the house where they live at that time. On Wednesday, April 3, the doctor was going to leave my mom hospitalized to be on the lookout when I was born. But my mother insisted that she don't leave her there, so the doctor told her that the next day she had to be at 6 in the morning. Then on Thursday, April 4, approximately at 5 in the morning, my mom woke up from pains, and with my dad, they went to the medical center. My dad told my mom to take a taxi, but she said no, because the medical center was near. So they walked and had to stop every so often, though the contractions my mom had. When they arrived at the medical center, they took my mom to a stretcher and they waited for about 5 hours. And then the doctor told my dad to go get my clothes and eat something while my mom was fully dilated. And that when he arrived, he was going to let him see childbirth. Meanwhile, my mom delayed and started calling the nurse to call the doctor because she felt that I was going to be born. But the doctor was busy, so my mom go on the stretcher and began to push. When the nurse entered and saw that my mom was bleeding, she called the doctor who received me. But there were other patients, so they have to leave quickly. So the nurse left me on a tray or something like that. So my mom ran the stretcher to pick me up from her arms, and then the nurse came back to clean and dress me. At the moment they were cleaning my dad's cam, but he couldn't see the birth, and I was born between 11 and 11:30 in the morning. My mom told me that when I was 2 years old, in the year 2004, she went to pick up my brother from school and took me, as she usually did. But this day, while we were going already close to school, she passed an avenue and as it was in both directions, she didn't see a bicycle coming and the man in the bicycle didn't see her neither. So when she was crossing the street, the bike ran over my mom, making her fall while she was carrying me. People helped her to get up. When she got me up, she realized that my face was full of blood. Some teachers who were nearby took her inside from school and they helped me to clean and put a bandage on while my mom left my brother at home to take me to the hospital. Then at the hospital they took stitches under my eyebrow and that left me a scar. In the year 2007, I don't remember the exact date, when I was 5 years old was my baptism. My godparents were my uncle, one of my mom's brother, and his wife. My godmother was in charge of choosing my dress and getting me ready, so what I looked like was a surprise for my parents. She decided to choose a pink dress because my mom liked dress me a lot in that color. That's why the day before I stayed at my godparents' house. Then, on the day of my baptism, we meet my parents in Las Acacias church. After the ceremony was over, we went home. My mom made lunch for us and some friends, and after a nice moment, each one went home. An important moment in my life was in the year 2010. I was 8 years old when my mom decided to separate from my dad because she was no longer living well with him. My mom had planned this since October, but she waited until December to leave so that I could normally finish my school year. When the year ended, my mom took out our things and took them to an apartment in my grandmother's house. That process was not very difficult for me. I was already clear that I want to go to live with my mom, and they had already told us that they were going to separate. But my dad thought that my mom was going to change her mind, but it wasn't. When they separated, they sent me, by order of the court, to go to a psychologist, which was actually a bad experience. I didn't like to go to the psychologist. I don't know if everyone works the same or was just my psychologist, but she always repeated me the same things over and over again. The only good thing about going to the psychologist was that she gave me a free ticket to diversity. It didn't affect me that my parents separate because my dad was being so rude. So I don't know if he say something good, but I think so. My relationship with my dad improved after living apart. When I turned 15 in the year 2017, my dad gave me a trip to San Andres Island and my mom the party of 15. The first thing was in the trip, which was in the week of April 3 to 7. We were my dad, my grandmother, my dad's wife, and her daughter. We were all week and it was a very fun trip. As it was by a company, every day we had a different activity. One day we went diving, another day we did a tour that included a cave and a park called the Natural Pool. And there is a part in the sea, in the one with no waves, and also there are many fish. The next day we went to the aquarium, a place where there are manta rays, fish, and another varieties of animals that can be seen because it's a shallow part. This plan came with food and drinks included, so we celebrated my birthday there, and it was a very fun trip. Um, I think the best trip that I have ever done. Then on Saturday, May 6th, was the party that my mom paid for through a company. It was in a community room near to our house. While my mom was receiving the guest, I was at the house with a cousin getting ready. Then my brother went to pick me up and take me to the party. We saw a video with my photos with all my from all my childhood. Then we danced. There were many photos. It was a very beautiful moment. Not all the moments are happy, and this is the words of all. On July 16 of this year, my father died. My dad was diabetic. He had to take insulin. He had kidney problems, so he had to go on dialysis. He had heart problems. His heart wasn't working at all. He had a problem with the blood vessels in his eyes, which caused him to lose his left eye and had a constant pain in the right eye. A muscle problem that affected his legs, and sometimes when he was walking, the leg muscles failed and he fell. Everything became more noticeable to the point where he was a regular hospital patient and he had to be hospitalized very often. He had to been hospitalized for weeks to months, and once they come to demand support due to the risk of falling. The last time he was hospitalized, he was in the Soacha Cardiovascular Hospital, isolated due to the problem of COVID, and we were not allowed to visit him. He was hospitalized for approximately 2 weeks until he died for a cardiac arrest. That day, my brother entered the room where my mom and I slept, crying, and there was no need for him to say anything. And on July 20, we went with my grandmother, my brother, and my aunt to visit my father's grave, to leave some flowers, and then we returned to the house. I shared many memories with my dad, and I will miss him very much. And when his birthday or Christmas arrives, I know that I will miss him. But I know that he finally has the peace and rest that he wants.